Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are, whatever time of day you are watching this. Hope you're doing well, and welcome to your World Cup news. In today's video, there is an abundance of strikers who are suddenly out injured, impacting a lot of the major favourite teams for this tournament. We'll have a very quick preview of the Qatar versus Ecuador match, and we'll cover off all the other news that's going on in and around the Qatar 2022 World Cup. Before we get started, as always, guys, if you'd be kind enough to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and if you'd like to support us, please hit the join button down below. It's only 99p to become a member. Let's get into this video, guys, and let's start talking about these injuries. A lot of the Golden Boot favourites have suddenly found themselves injured. Mane being the first one that was mentioned from a few days ago. He's out for Senegal and out for the whole tournament. It was originally thought that he'd be out for a couple of games, but that's his tournament done and dusted. Following that, the curse of the strikers has continued, with Benzema declaring himself completely out yesterday after fighting against his injury to get himself into contention. And now we have Depay, who's going to miss at least the first match for Holland. And the final one is Lukaku, who actually has been injured most of the season. I think only making 5 appearances for Inter, but he's not fit enough for Belgium's opening game either, and may not feature in their second game. So an abundance of strikers missing. What does that mean, and how will these teams cope? And which one is most impacted? For me, it's Senegal. Senegal need Mane. Mane is the engine that keeps them ticking, the talisman, the one that is their poster boy. And with him out, Senegal's chances of progressing, I think, are still okay from the groups, but I don't think they'll be able to go as deep into the tournament without him. Benzema, as you can see here in the thumbnail, is the Ballon d'Or winner of this year and has turned into quite the leader for France. What will this mean for France and their chances? I still think they'll be okay. They're my favourites, or my tip, should I say, to win the World Cup this year. Yeah, may see Griezmann being progressed into that Benzema role and having to step up and show maybe why he still has the talent to lead that front line. What I worry for France is if they revert back to having Giroud up front. Now, Giroud is still scoring in Serie A, but has he got the legs to keep going against the likes of, the world's elites, and can he lead a lineup? Of course, they've still got the ace in the pack, Mbappe, who is completely fit and will be featuring, but he does like to play out wide rather than as a direct number 9. But I still think France will be okay, but Benzema has fully declared himself out. With Depay out and the biggest game of that group being against Senegal, that's going to be tough for them, but we think that it will be Cody Gakpo who steps up to fill the boots of Depay, and we all know what a great player he is, especially the Forest fans who know he was linked to us in the summer as well. But with Gakpo stepping up, just playing out of his normal comfort position, which is out on the left, it will be interesting to see how they cope. And against Senegal, missing their talisman as well, could be in for a really interesting game on that. I expect Depay to be back the other 2 group matches against Qatar and Ecuador, but maybe he'll be rested for one of those, and it is very likely that the Dutch team should have enough firepower to get through those 2 games without necessarily needing to use Depay. And then finally on the Lukaku front, well, they do have some options. It may be Batman stepping in place for him. Obviously, he was this close to signing for Nottingham Forest in the summer, but he may be asked to lead the lineup. You've also got still Dries Mertens, who can come in and play as a number 9 as well. But I'm not sure Lukaku's going to be fit enough or have enough of an impact on this World Cup, having only played 4 or 5 games this season for Inter. Did Belgium now look weaker without him? I guess time will tell as we see them kick off this week during the World Cup. With all these injuries happening to some of the major contenders in the World Cup, will this open the door for the likes of Portugal, where Ronaldo, off the back of his interview with Piers Morgan, has a lot to prove in this World Cup? Quite likely his last World Cup, and Neves has come out today and said he's backing Ronaldo to have a World Cup from the heavens, so to speak. So it'll be interesting to see. Portugal have a very good team. But will they make it all about Ronaldo, or will that team be able to become cohesive and actually progress? And it's a lot of people's dark horses, though not very dark in my opinion, because they have a fantastic looking squad for the World Cup. That's your latest injury news. Let's give you a very quick preview of today's game, which is Qatar against Ecuador. As mentioned in yesterday's video, Qatar against Ecuador isn't one you'd set your alarm clocks to get out of bed to see, so to speak. But we will be bringing you the watch along this afternoon, so please do come and keep us company, and we'll talk you through, well, hopefully what will be a good game. And good game it should be, because on average we do get 4.25 goals in opening World Cup matches. And that is over, if I just check my stats, the past 4 World Cups we've had 17 goals. So hopefully I haven't put the curse of the Wolverine on it, but let's see if we can get maybe 3 goals out of this. Now, Ecuador are ranked 44th in the world, with Qatar sitting 6 places behind them in 50th. So, not the most highly ranked teams, but you never know. With the home backing and the home support for Qatar, we may find ourselves in for an entertaining match. Qatar have won their last few games at this stadium. I believe they're 9-0 in terms of goals scored and goals against, but let's just say that the opposition they were playing weren't exactly the elites of the football. So we will see how this game goes. We'll have it here for you with the virtual pitch and everything as per normal. If you're looking for players to watch out for, well, I've got one for you from the Qatar team. It's El Muaz Ali. He is their striker. He is their talisman. And he was the one who scored their 1 goal against Albania in the preseason cup friendly, where they were able to win 1-0 from the penalty spot. So as good as talent goes, that's probably the guy you want to keep an eye out for from the Qatar team. The rest will work together well as a team, but he's their talisman and their main point of focus when it comes to playing on the pitch. I ain't going to sit here and tell you I know a lot about the Qatar team. I don't have them enough hours in the day to watch their matches week in, week out. But that's the player that I'm recommending to you guys to keep an eye out for. In terms of Ecuador, I'm going to point to you guys out Pervis Estupina, who plays for Brighton and was very close to signing for Nottingham Forest in the summer. So do keep an eye on the left back / left wing back, who gets forward a lot, and he does drive and start a lot of the Ecuador attacks. So keep an eye out for him. For me, he's the tip from the Ecuador team, as long as with Casado, his teammate as well from Brighton, they will form quite the formidable partnership and look after the ball quite well. I expect Ecuador to have most of the possession in this game, but I do expect a few cameo attacks from Qatar, with the crowd getting behind them and pushing them forward. But let's see how this goes. For me, it's got to be, well, can you call it an away win? But I think it will go to Ecuador. I think it'll be something like 2-1 to them. Let me know what you think the score will be down below. We'll kick the watch along off 15 minutes before kickoff at 3:45, so make sure you are tuned in. That brings you up to date with your World Cup news for today. Thank you for watching, and come on you Reds!